Good evening, I'm Ashley Rowe. Thanks for joining us as we celebrate and congratulate a beloved colleague here at 7 Eyewitness News and all throughout Western New York. After more than 33 years, the legendary Keith Radford is retiring. Not only is Keith the consummate professional, he is also an absolute joy to work with and someone we all learn from daily. Since joining the 7 Eyewitness News family in November of 1987, Keith has become a fixture in our lives, covering the stories and the moments that made us laugh, made us cry, and that defined life in Western New York and beyond. For 33 years, we have counted on that voice, that intellect, that witty banter, and his clever retorts to let us know everything is going to be okay. And while it is always tough to say goodbye, we are going to do our best to do it in true Keith fashion. And what better way than hearing first from the man himself as Keith and I sit down for a look back at his incredible career. Keith, retiring after more than 30 years. Have you been doing a lot of reflecting lately?
Yeah, I guess. It's kind of weird, you know, I'll be 70 in a couple of months. I was 19 when I started down in Windsor, Detroit. So it's been 50 years to the week, actually, when I retire. So yeah, it'll be weird. I've worked my whole life since I was a kid. I used to carry out groceries at the supermarket, when I was 12.
A long career, one rooted in great ambition.
As we reported last night, last weekend's unexpected rainfall has resulted in near record flooding in Muskokas.
Keith's first big TV news break outside of Toronto in Barrie, Ontario. The camera loved him, and from there, it was on to Canada's largest city. Now, when you were the young cub, scrappy reporter, did you have ambitions to go to the United States?
Not in the beginning, I don't think, but I was 30 years old and I was at CTV in Toronto, the biggest market in Canada, so I thought there's a lot more opportunity in the United States for what I do.
Salt Lake City has a lot of radio stations.
And Keith made a splash. Even David Letterman taking notice of his talent.
I'm looking forward to it. I've heard wonderful things about you.
You have you?
Everybody seems to think you're too good for the market.
Well, that's what they say.
But do me a favor, send me a tape. I'll get you out of there. Don't worry about it.
He didn't need the late-night talk show host's help. By 1987, Keith's resume was in Buffalo, and WKBW TV quickly scooped up the natural talent. And you started off as the 5 p.m. news anchor. That's what you were hired for. What was it like the first time that you met Irv Weinstein? I mean, the legend, you must have known going into it that there was this legend that you were going to be working alongside.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I met him in, one of the highlights of my career, working with him. I worked with him for 11 years here before he retired. Just the greatest, funniest guy. All we had to do was, passing each other in the hall, and we just look at each other and break out laughing, because he was such a funny guy.
Freezing. Oh, my, feeling chill.
Can you share a couple of those memories?
He and I anchored together. I was his co-anchor for about 2 years at 6 o'clock and 11. So he would drag me into his office every night after the producers were done, and we'd have to go over all the script. And he would rip it all apart and roll his eyeballs. And he'd, I remember he would stop and he would look up and he'd say, "Keith, what the hell are they going to do when I'm gone?" In other words, no one was up to snuff with Irv, He was just such a fun. He made it fun to come to work every day. He really did.
In 2016, Keith visited the legendary anchorman at his home in California, where he had been living throughout retirement and battling ALS.
You never held anything back.
Got me in a lot of trouble.
It was the last time the old friends would see each other. Irv died a year later. What do you think he taught you as you were growing up in the Buffalo news market?
Accuracy, and he always said he had a connection with the audience. When I look into the camera, I don't really think about looking into the camera. I just do my thing. I just present, like I'm talking to one other person.
Well, and that is part of the staying power that you've had, is that you've been able to connect with the audience in a very unique way. You walk down the street. I've walked down the street with you during many parades, and people who are both young and old are shouting your name. That speaks to the connection that you have been able to form with the community.
Hi, babe. How you doing? Good.
Nowhere is Keith more recognizable than in Lewiston, where he and his wife have lived since the 1990s. Keith is the Lord of Lewiston, but his dog Frankie is the real attraction.
He's better known than I am, I think. And I meet people here when I walk them every day. They say, "Oh, is that Frank?"
Frankie's popularity rose with the WKBW segment Fridays with Frankie.
Show me what you want. Cheese. Yeah, you like cheese.
You can't do any better than putting animals on TV. You know,
That's
people.
true. Babies and dogs.
Yeah, they like animals better than people. Most people.
true.
He's kind of a cute little dog. He's kind of funny, and I made him even funnier. I tried to anyway.
But Keith's impact is felt far beyond this historic town, all across Western New York and Southern Ontario. There's a relatability that you really do put through the camera, and for how you do that is something that I learn from every day. I don't know how you do it, how you can.
I don't know either. I just get on and do what I'm supposed to do and try and do the very best that I can.
More from my interview with Keith coming up after the break as he reflects on the people, places, and most memorable stories that have helped solidify his place among the media elite in Western New York. But first, we can't have a special celebrating Keith's career without mentioning a New Year's Eve tradition.
The party in Times Square, New York. We've all grown up watching that on television each year. Hopefully this will be the beginning of another new tradition here in Buffalo, New York.
For more than 30 years, Keith has helped us usher in the new year, leading our New Year's Eve coverage live from downtown Buffalo. He has shared the spotlight with a number of co-anchors over the years, myself included, and it has always been an eventful night filled with excitement and hope for the year ahead. In fact, it was during this year's ball drop that Keith announced his retirement, and when Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown declared December 31st, 2020, Keith Radford Day in the Queen City. Stay with us. Our Keith Radford retirement special continues in just 1 minute, including reflections from some familiar faces from the Channel 7 family. And Keith will join us live on set coming up. But first, a special message from one legendary journalist to another.
David Muir here from ABC's World News Tonight, and congratulations, Keith Radford, on your 33-year career with WKBW 7 Eyewitness News. I'm from upstate New York, so that's a lot of lake effect snow through the years and so many other important stories, and that community is grateful. So Keith, from all of us here at ABC News, congratulations on your retirement. You've earned it.
Welcome back as we celebrate our colleague, our friend, Keith Radford, who is retiring after 33 years in the Buffalo broadcasting business. And what a career it has been. Back in 2015, Keith was inducted into the Buffalo Broadcasters Hall of Fame. It's a fitting place for this Canadian native, who is Western New York's longest running male anchor and who says he is eternally grateful that the U.S., specifically Buffalo, is now his home.
I am so grateful to Buffalo, the audience, all of you, and the U.S. for letting me come and stay here. So thank you very much.
A member of the Buffalo Broadcasters Hall of Fame, just one of Keith's many accolades during his legendary career. And while Keith is an incredible journalist, he tells me it's the people themselves and their extraordinary stories that have had the greatest impact on his career, his life even. Right now, my conversation with Keith continues as he looks back on some of his most memorable stories and looks forward to the next chapter. There's a relatability that you really do put through the camera, and for how you do that is something that I learn from every day. I don't know how you do it, how you can.
I don't know either. I just get on and do what I'm supposed to do and try and do the very best that I can.
But you have been able to do some pretty remarkable travel over the course of your career. So what are some of the most memorable stories that you've worked on?
We went to Poland with Lech Wałęsa, when he became the first president of Poland. They had the first free elections there. That was pretty exciting. Spent 10 days in O.J. Simpson's driveway when all of that happened, from the day after the murders, and I knew him pretty well.
Yeah, what was that like? You were there, you were reporting, weren't you live?
I was, we moved downtown to Parker Center, police headquarters in LA, and we thought, okay, OJ's going to turn himself in. They had a news conference, and the police chief got up and said, OJ's never showed up and he's a fugitive. And we all went, what? So we all ran outside to do our live reports, and then all of a sudden on the monitor, the Bronco chase shows up. And people were saying, pinch me, is this really happening? He drove in the driveway, and I could see him sitting in the back seat. And then I saw they took him in. It was all glass windows, and you could see them booking him, taking his fingerprints and everything. And it was just very bizarre.
Keith's true love, covering the men and women of the U.S. Air Force, traveling with them for Hurricane Hugo relief.
We're at the Naval Air Station in Norfolk, Virginia, where we're picking up another 15,000 pounds of food and supplies.
And the Persian Gulf War in the early 1990s.
Niagara Falls Boulevard. Well, it's not the Niagara Falls Boulevard, the one that we know. This one is about 9,000 or 10,000 miles away.
What was that like?
These guys and ladies were supposed to only be there for a month, and it was 3 months, and most of them ended up a year and a half. They had to stay there. And we got to be there for 2 or 3 weeks and then come home. It was at Christmas time, and they were giving me stuff to bring home to their families here, cards and Christmas presents and things like that.
But what sticks with Keith the most, the story of Marine Corporal Jason Dunham. The Allegheny County native died during a tour in Iraq.
He was out on patrol one day with 5 guys, and an insurgent threw a grenade at him, and he took his helmet off, laid it on top of the grenade, and laid down on top of the grenade. And he died. 23. Who does that? So I spent a day with his parents, and to look at his face, save 5 people's lives. So that was it. I had video of President Bush giving his mother the Medal of Honor. He was the first Marine in 40 years to be awarded the Medal of Honor. So that was pretty impactful for me.
For all the years that I've worked with you, you have made a point of thanking the members of the U.S. Armed Services at every opportunity. You did it at your last New Year's Eve broadcast. Why is it so important to you to share that publicly?
There's no greater honor, I don't think, than being in the American military. To provide a safe, free life that we have. And again, I'm not a born American. Like I've said many times, I was allowed to come here, live here, work here, bring my family here. And I was so grateful. I became a citizen as soon as I could. It's just a special place.
What's next for you as you enter this new chapter?
I have no idea. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like I said, I'll be 70 in a couple months, so I guess I'm done working. I mean, I'm going to do something somewhere. I don't know. So we'll see. My brother-in-law owns a funeral home. He said I could drive the hearse for him. But I'd love to be driving the limousine for the family at the funeral. And my little cap on, and they're in the back, and one of them says, well, who is that guy? Yeah, that guy looks familiar. Who is that?
What will you miss the most about being a nightly news broadcaster?
Well, the most enjoyable part to me was in the studio when the camera went on. And all the other stuff leading up to it and everything, yeah, it was all right. But actually being on the air and talking, or especially if you're out and you did a story on your own and putting that together and then presenting that, I'll miss that, I guess. But I don't know, I'll find something else to do, I guess. I don't know. Anybody need anything?
What would you like to tell the people of Western New York, the people who have been watching you every night for the last 30-odd years?
Well, I've been really lucky. Most people in my business don't last this long at the same. I mean, I'm doing the exact same thing now as I did 34 years ago when I got here. So I happen to survive somehow, don't know how. So I just want to thank people for watching. I hope I did some good stuff, I know I did some mediocre stuff, and I probably did some bad stuff once in a while, but I always tried to do the best I could for the audience, and I hope they got something out of it, learned a little bit, became a little more educated on a subject maybe or something, or so I hope I did some good. I tried.
No question there, Keith. You definitely did a whole lot of good. One of a kind you are. Coming up, Keith joins us live. His message to you as he signs off for a final time here at 7 Eyewitness News. But first, check out who wants to say congrats to Keith.
Hey, what's up, Keith? Congratulations on your 33-year career with WKBW 7 Eyewitness News. I'm wishing you the very best in your retirement. Have a good time and a drink for me.
Over the years, Keith Radford has shared the anchor desk with some pretty amazing colleagues. Everyone from the late Irv Weinstein to Susan Banks, Tom Joles, Kathleen Layton, John Murphy, and of course many more. Tonight, we're catching up with some of them for their reflections on working with the Rad Man.
What was it? You know what? Keith gave me some notes too. Hang on. Wait a second. Wait a minute. Oh, wait. Okay.
Babe. He calls everyone babe.
This whole thing was calling everybody babe, right? Hey, babe, what do you think of that? Hey, babe, what are you doing this weekend?
He coined the term babe. Everybody called each other babe in the newsroom, whether guy, girl, didn't matter. Hey, babe, for years and years.
We had a great rapport on the air. We had such a great rapport that people thought that we were married in real life.
I actually saw his resume tape before he came. The news director called me in and showed me his tape and said, this guy is going to be a big star.
It was really, I guess the word I'd have to use is fun. We just had a good time.
There's a charm. I don't know how else to describe Keith Radford except that he's charming. He's just charming. He's a wonderful guy.
As much as we talk about his sense of humor and how he's a regular guy, he's a really good reporter. He's a damn good reporter.
I can't tell you how many stories I have over the years of teaming up with him.
A lot happened in the 90s when we were working together. The O.J. Simpson trial. The Bills went to the Super Bowl 4 times. We had the Murrah bombing in Oklahoma City. So there were a lot of very heavy news stories.
When you think about everything that he's covered, the Gulf War, the O.J. Simpson trial, the crash of Flight 3407, all of that stands as his legacy, and that's why he'll be in that same league as the media elite in Western New York.
That he was someone the public liked and trusted, that he was a reassuring presence on the air. He was somebody they could look to in times of crisis and be reassured that things were going to be okay. I think that's his legacy.
And I think people do understand that he's really an authentic person. He's not making that up.
I think it's really just the way he interacts with people. He can be understanding, compassionate, funny, and people just love him. And of course, all of us here in the newsroom loved him.
Keith, congratulations on retirement. All I can say is you're gonna love it.
Congratulations, Keith. Man, you have had a great run, and I'm so glad I was able to be a part of it. Have a wonderful retirement.
Keith, I know you've been looking forward to this for a long time, and you deserve it. I hope you catch a lot of fish and get lots of time in with your grandchildren.
Keith, it's been an honor knowing you and working with you, but more than that, it's been great to be your friend for many, many years.
Nobody deserves a bigger send-off. Nobody deserves more accolades. Nobody deserves a bigger pat on the back for all that you have brought to Western New York and its viewers over the years. Congrats, my friend.
Are you sure this is me that all those people are talking about?
Keith, it's you, yes. And you know what is true is that many of those people who we just heard from are still your friends today, and that's a testament to you.
Yeah, I see most of them all the time, talk to them all the time. So, yeah, we work with some great people here over the years.
Yes,
and
yes.
great people still here as well.
And speaking of great people, Andy Parker, I know you have some memories of your own.
Yeah, I got to tell you, that watching all those faces, everything they said is 100% true. Keith, you've done it all, even the weather. Now, it was 1990 something. I'm going to take you back. And we had a big green wall out here on the weather outside. Tom Joles' live shot went down, and they looked around, and I don't know who tapped you, and they said, come on out and do the weather. And watching you turn out and launch the new weather technology called the Weather Snake. Do you remember that?
What?
Yeah, Tom was out at the fair and his live shot died, so I just had to go on and do it.
Well, you jumped out here, no preparation. And I remember I got to watch that as you were doing it, and all the weather terms, jet stream, geostrophic winds, you just calmly came out, stood there in the chroma key, which is hard to do on its own, introduced the Weather Snake that brought the weather to
And I
Western
remember
New York.
saying, oh, look, there's a lot of yellow stuff coming. Ooh, I don't know what it is, but you better get under the bed, folks, because look out.
In addition to being one of the most entertaining weather segments I've ever seen, and I can still recall it today, back in the 90s, it taught me something that day, Keith. It doesn't matter how many big weather words you can squeeze into a forecast, it's about how you tell the story. And I've admired that since day one, and probably even more today. And watching all of those folks say all those things, it is 100% true. You have touched so many people in the business, connected with viewers so authentically on a one-to-one basis. It's been fantastic to be part of it, even from the weather outside.
I remember when you were an intern here, Andy. Remember that?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, that was a few years ago, right?
Time flies.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
Now they need me to do a little bit of weather, but we've got a special surprise coming up, so don't go anywhere. Let's talk about what we have outside. Surprisingly, some folks are in the sun. Others have this marine layer over downtown. We can barely see the sun coming through some of that in downtown Buffalo. How are the 70s compared to the 90s? No Speedo necessary today as we kind of cool down a little bit. Let's take a look at the lake. Look at that. Now that's a notable number. Yesterday 65, today 70 degrees. That's about the air temperature in a lot of places in the southern tier. I want to draw your attention down to the southern tier tonight. Now we did have a severe thunderstorm watch for a good chunk of our southern viewing area. Happy to say that most of that's gone. McKean, Potter County, you're the last to see that, and it'll drop in the next hour or two as all that severe weather threat sliding to the south. If you have some patio plans tonight, other than this marine layer downtown, that's all we see. It should be a pretty quiet go for the next few hours. There's a couple of cells we're watching to the west. They're going to lose any emphasis that they have and kind of die out, so I'm not expecting a lot of activity overnight. The forecast going down to 63 degrees, less muggy as well. Winds out of the southwest as they are kind of pushing it around 16 miles an hour. And as we start looking ahead, let's go and check out the grillcast for tomorrow. Boy, if you want to go do it, you're going to have to dodge some raindrops. Now, who needs to dodge the drops and when? That's the job I have to tell you here. I'm going to try to make it as clear as possible. Watch what happens in the southern tier. Now, we're going to bring it to tonight at 11. Tomorrow morning, look at all the rain. McKean and Potter County, down near the Pennsylvania line, you're really soggy before 12 o'clock. After 12 o'clock, there's less rain to the south, and then we start finding those scattered showers developing up to the north. You can see them there. That includes Buffalo Metro over along the thruway to Rochester. And then Friday is no prize. Take a look at this. A weather system just sits on top of us. Occasional rain showers, much cooler air right on through the day Friday. So putting it all together for you here, 77 goes to 67 on Friday. And then over the weekend, everybody's got some plans, and I think the fireworks are going to go off without a hitch as we start warming up. Just a couple isolated showers Sunday, and the 80s are back as we get into next week. So for one final time, from the weather outside, back into you, Keith.
Thank you, Andy, you young whippersnapper, you. All right. Is that it?
It's all you.
Oh, it's all me. Couple of things. The audience, thank you for watching all these years, because without you, we had no purpose, really, so thank you. The staff here at Channel 7 been wonderful from day one. Thank you. My friends at Channel 2, Channel 4, nice greetings you gave me today. I've known them all for years. Thank you very much for being good competitors. All my buddies in Lewiston tonight, they're watching. There's some parties going on at the BBC, at the Brickyard, at Gather, Casa Antica, Apple Granny's, where we kind of hang out. I know you're all there, so thank you, Ken and Eric and Jeremy and Jack. Oh, my grandkids. Hudson's watching down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida tonight. Cheech, Zuri, and Jules in Miami, and then Emiliano in New York City. Did I miss any?
I think you got it.
I think that's all I have. And I think that's about it. How much time we got, DJ?
We got a couple of minutes left.
Oh, we've got 2.5 minutes left? Oh, okay. What else? A lot of people have asked me, why now? And I think I've explained it just because I'm going to be 70 and, you know, I'm old. So I might as well, I mean, I could get hit by a truck tomorrow and I'd be gone. So I might as well go out and do some fishing and, you know, have a glass of wine or two. And again, what's next for me, I don't know. As I said earlier, if you have anything you need me to do,
I'm free now. I'm available.
Keith, I've got a question for you before we wrap things up.
Yeah.
Something that every colleague of yours has known about you over the last however many years is that when you first meet them, you don't refer to them by their first name. You refer to them as Babe. Doesn't matter whether it's a guy or a gal, folks. Everybody is referred to as Babe.
You know
Where
why?
did that come from?
We used to have a guy on the desk, Jimmy Watson, and he would call everybody Babe, and I kind of picked it up and I thought, hey, this is a good way to not to have to remember everybody's name. You just call him Babe, male or female, doesn't matter, and everything's good.
Oh,
so that's what I did.
So it was a very convenient
That's where the Babe came from, yeah.
Well, Keith, we've got all of our colleagues here
Come on
in studio.
And where's my daughter and my wife? Are they?
They're coming as well. Yep, Linda, Colleen, get over here.
Everybody always thought I was married to Kathleen, and there are probably some people who think I'm married to you.
That would be quite the interesting marriage.
Yeah, that would be. She's 6 months pregnant. But come on in, everybody. This is.
We've got the whole team here.
Yeah. Well, it's not the whole team, but it's the night shift that's here during COVID because everybody's not back in the building yet. But
and take a look at this.
Oh, look at that cake. Oh, look at that. Can I take that home?
Oh yes, this is all for you. We've got Linda and Colleen here.
It's my wife Linda and my daughter Colleen, who's from Michigan, and then we've got kids down in Florida and New York City and around. So everybody couldn't be here, but.
We made it.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to stay home just all the time, every day, day and night, because I'll go out of my mind, I think. So, Billy, come on in here. Come on. This is Bill Ransom is here. Bill was our former general manager here for many years. What, 11, 12 years, I think, Bill? Come on in.
Keith, we've got 20 seconds left, so I'm going to leave the final word to you. Sign us off.
That's it for this time. Till next time, have a nice time. I've always wanted to say that. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care.